Well, hello again from here inside Old Trafford. Now, the last time I was on my own little private stretch of runway, I was reflecting 7 months ago on a 3-0 victory for Newcastle in the Carabao Cup. That, for you guys in the away end, we're not getting too dizzy by this, from the away end up there behind me, that was a night of joy, of optimism at the outset of the season. Now, that there tonight has probably left you guys with a really deflating feel. I understand why. There's a lot of anger out there towards the players, towards the manager even. I think people need to calm down in that regard, and I'll try to give you a balanced view on where I think it went wrong for Newcastle tonight. Because it did go wrong, and it doesn't leave you with a great deal of confidence going down to Brentford to get the job done there on Sunday. But this may not be what some of you want to hear tonight. I didn't think it was the worst performance. I think Newcastle have done more than enough there tonight to win the game, but they've been let down by key moments. It comes back to what I've been saying for so long now, in moments that define games and can ultimately define seasons, as that one there tonight could do. It comes back to a base level of ability. In Newcastle having some in certain positions, too many positions, who, I'm not saying they're not good enough, they're just not that elite killer level. Look at the chances Newcastle have had there tonight. They've outscored Manchester United in terms of XG. Every time they went forward, it looked like they would get a chance to score. They've missed some big opportunities. They haven't been convincing in those moments, and they've left themselves at the other end of the park, whereby they've actually got to go and score 4 goals to win a game at Old Trafford. Now, actually tonight, on the balance of territory, I think they probably could have scored 4 goals, but for better composure, that ruthless killer instinct in the final third, which for a team who have outscored the entertainers this season, you know, the great entertainers of the mid-90s, all of a sudden now it's become a theme that they've lost that composure, that final pass, that final cross, that final shot in front of goal. It cost them badly on Saturday at home to Brighton. It cost them down at Crystal Palace, and for me, it's cost them there tonight. But it hasn't cost them as much as what happened at the other end of the pitch. Eddie Howe was strong, really strong afterwards. He's said his defenders need to hang their heads in shame after that, and that was as far as I've seen him go perhaps all season in terms of putting the onus back on his players. Because for me, there tonight, I would go along with that wasn't the worst managerial performance. Yes, I know some of you will come back and say he should have picked different players, but I don't think there's too many options. And it was a question I asked him afterwards with regards to Sunday, and the inference of my question was, you know, is it now time to make changes? And, you know, my suggestion, you know, I'm thinking Nick Pope in for Martin Dubravka, Joe Linton coming back into the midfield, but those players have come back after a long time out, you know. He watches them every day in training, to start with Dubravka and to start with Sean Longstaff, Elliot Anderson in the midfield. You've got to trust him on that. And as I say, you know, the performance there, even though I think Newcastle, this sounds crazy, I thought Newcastle were terrible in defence at times. I thought they didn't do enough in good positions in attack, and I thought the midfield didn't turn up. That's every area of the pitch, and I'll throw the goalkeeper in there as well. Yeah, it wasn't the worst performance. They actually did enough to win the game. They started brilliantly. You know, the first 10 minutes, Eric Ten Hag has stood on the touchline there down in front of us, just shaking his head with his hands in his pockets. And I'm saying to my colleagues who cover Manchester United, Newcastle will win this. This could actually be something of an easy night if they can get an early goal. This place could turn, and that's got to be the frustration. Newcastle were facing one of the worst Manchester United teams in recent history, and there's a pretty high bar to clear in that regard. But, you know, this lot have come into the game, the home side, so low on confidence, and Newcastle have actually started with a real zest, a real zip. They've pinned them in. They've looked dangerous down the flanks, in behind. It's looked as if it was going to be a brilliant night for them. And then, I come back to these words. Killer, ruthless, you know, that mentality. That mentality when you've got your foot on the throat of an opponent to really finish the job you've started. It was only 10 minutes. But, you know, to build on that and to not give your opponents a sniff, really, I don't think Newcastle have necessarily got the players, or enough of those players, 1 to 11, 1 to 25 in the squad, for what they need to be to really be a top team, to come to a place like here. You know, once over, Old Trafford was a difficult place for opposition players to play. Now, this season, it's become a difficult place for home players to play. Newcastle didn't make the most of that. Manchester United were bidden to avoid here what would be a record 10th home league defeat of the season, and it was all there for Newcastle to go and achieve that. And they didn't, because of, I keep on saying the same words over and over, and it was a word Eddie has repeated there. I thought that was telling, the fact that he committed to that for the first time, personality and mentality. Also, as well, I would throw in there, and this is something I've been saying for a while now, ability. And you look at what happened at the back, and let's revisit those key moments. The first goal. So Newcastle have started well. I think by the time actually Manchester United take the lead, they've taken their foot off the gas. Man United are coming into the game. The first goal for me actually wasn't a massive surprise. I thought it'd been coming to a degree before that. Ahmad's allowed to run free. He then slips the ball through to, first of all, why is the scorer, Kobbie Mainoo, in so much space? Why is he being able to run from midfield, break the line? None of Bruno, Elliot Anderson, Sean Longstaff, whoever it may be, has actually followed the run. He's ran beyond the centre-halves, but nonetheless, even though his run hasn't been tracked, he's put himself in an offside position. Offside until it is Kieran Trippier, for whatever reason, doesn't step up, doesn't step out. And Trippier all night, we'll get this out the way now. You know, I was doing some match ratings there, and I think Trippier was my lowest mark of the outfield players. I love Kieran Trippier. He has been one of the most influential inspiration signings in Newcastle United's history. He's coming back after 2 months out. There was massive mitigation, but did he have a good night there? No, he didn't. And that speaks to the point as well, you know, for all you guys out there crying, Eddie doesn't know what he's doing. He should be playing Pope. He should be playing Pope instead of Dubravka. He should be playing Joe Linton. Others who have come back from injury. Well, look at what happened to Kieran Trippier when he went back in there. He's only been out 2 months. Pope and Joe Linton have been out longer. What's to say those players wouldn't have came in and been equally as rusty? You've got to trust the manager on that. It's not Eddie's fault that he doesn't play Nick Pope and then Martin Dubravka plays the way he does. That was poor, and we've got to get to Dubravka. I've been saying this for so long now about him as well. It's just, goodness. Anyway, Trippier. A lot to get through. Kieran Trippier doesn't step out for the goal, and that was reflective of what was a rusty performance all night. So many times balls dropped in behind, just wasn't at his level, and he's got a little bit to prove now before the Euros. But of course he'll come better, he'll improve, he'll get better for the minutes, for the games. Not that there's many left before the Euros, there's only one in England's friendlies, but you know, England is not Newcastle's concern. Newcastle is Newcastle's concern, and you know, Kieran Trippier, Tino Livramento out for the season now, albeit that's only one match. Kieran Trippier is going to have to go down to Brentford and start now and be a whole lot better than what he was there. Anyway, that's goal number one dealt with. Newcastle, then we'll talk about the penalty here as well. You know, Anthony Gordon said there, what is VAR? What is the use of VAR on a day when VAR is in the news? Premier League clubs are going to vote as to whether to keep it up. In it for me, I'm going to do a whole other video on this at some point during the summer, I dare say. I say keep it. I just think, I'd echo Anthony Gordon's point, you know, it's just got to be better. It's got to be better used than that there. Now, in real time, it's 1-0 at this point. In real time, Gordon, it looks like a brilliant challenge from Casemiro and colleagues in the press box. That's not a penalty. You then see a replay, and you say, oh no, it's a penalty, you know, Amrabat's gone down the back of his sock, and you think, well, you know, that's the beauty. VAR's got replays, the same replays we have. And Gordon had said to his teammates, don't worry, this will be reviewed. And it just wasn't. It was a penalty. Anyway, I think in the bigger picture, that is slightly academic. In an isolated incident, it's worth talking about because it's just a shocker that how it isn't reviewed. But anyway, Newcastle go into the second half. And they do actually get themselves level to start the second half well, so they do get themselves to that point at 1-1, and it's you know, Jacob Murphy's delivery all night was poor. Again, a continuation of what we saw on Saturday. There was one in the first half where he actually looks up and he pulls it back with real deliberate effort to it, and you're thinking, okay, where's this going? It went straight to a Man United shirt. You know, Murphy's delivery, other than for the goal that was wonderful, you know, that cross put into Anthony Gordon, it's a brilliant delivery, but other than that, Murphy was part of a poor performance in terms of execution in the final third. Again, I was saying this to some friends at the weekend, you know, it's almost like auto ball. It's just like they're firing balls out of a machine that go into a box. There's no real wit or invention or sort of deliberate intent to the crosses anymore. And I thought again tonight that is cost them. But anyway, where are we at now? This is getting as breathless as that game was at times. So it's 1-1, and then Manchester United go and get the second goal. But at 1-1, another key, huge moment. Within 4 minutes of scoring, Anthony Gordon and Isak break 2-on-1. I don't think Gordon's pass is the best. I think it causes Isak to check ever so slightly, but nonetheless, he's still favourite to score in that position. It's Alexander Isak. He hesitates just for a split second, doesn't look convincing, doesn't look like the Isak we know. That allows Amrabat to recover. The ball deflects up and onto the crossbar. Now, I think if Newcastle score at that point, and given how they'd started the second half, I do think they go on to win the game. Now, they don't. It's 1-1. Then within 3-4 minutes from a corner, the ball falls to Ahmad. Ahmad totally unmarked again, you know, from a corner. Why isn't he picked up? I know it's been headed clear, but he's still a player in the box who has got nobody on him all the time. Smashes in. Could Martin Dubravka have done better with that one? I'd like to see a replay. I don't know. You certainly have done better with the third. Before we get to that, there are more key defining moments to revisit. And the big one is Sean Longstaff goes through on goal. Eddie Howe makes the substitutions. One of those, Joe Linton, impacts. It's a lovely little ball. Longstaff's through. I never believed he was going to score. And the finish, again, it lacks wit, it lacks invention. It's just straight at Onana. And that, at the time, just felt like a huge moment. That gets Newcastle back to 2-2. A draw that would have been good enough on the night to guarantee them finishing above Manchester United. Then the game drifts a little bit. You know, Newcastle still have chances. They still have Joe Linton off the bar. Emil Krafth puts a cross in. They've still got that territory, that superior possession, that superior shot count, that superior XG. Again, it wasn't a bad performance, you know. I know there's anger out there, but they did enough to get something from this here tonight. But then they go to the other end, and wow, the third goal, just how soft is it for Dan Burn not to do more to resist the shot, just to go with Højlund. Rasmus Højlund, a player so out of form, so low on confidence, dropped here tonight, and he comes on, you get allowed to get the shot away, and there's no venom in the shot at all. And time to talk about Martin Dubravka. Now, I've used the phrase repeatedly now, he just doesn't do enough to impact situations, you know. That was me making specific reference more to one-on-one, just, you know, do something. A lot of goals go in and a neutral observer might look at it and just say, that wasn't Dubravka's fault, you know, I can't do much there. But over a catalogue, when you put together all of the evidence, there's too many moments like that. You can do more in the shot there that goes in the bottom corner. I think he's got to get down and do more to save that. And, you know, would you bring Nick Pope back in on Sunday? Perhaps. Eddie knows better than us where he is in terms of his fitness, but Dubravka now just doesn't look like a Premier League standard goalkeeper anymore. Even before that, he was shaky. I use the word unconvincing on, you know, some shots, some crosses. Yeah, and that's it. You know, the game is probably gone then, you think, but then Lewis Hall will come to the Merit Stars. Lewis Hall scores a brilliant goal at exactly the same end there. You know, the Stretford end where he did in the League Cup back in September. Brilliant, wonderful finish. In a 3-2, Newcastle have still got 5 minutes then, 6 minutes to actually go and get the draw they need. And that last 5 minutes was almost symptomatic of everything that had gone before him anyways. Anthony Gordon from a good position manages to shank one just straight out of play as a cross-field ball. Eddie just spun on his heels and was shaking his head. Harvey Barnes got into a position and couldn't do anything with it. You know, Isak just wasn't the same player. We've seen how much has that illness set him back. You know, he wasn't as sharp as he has been. Callum Wilson wasn't here, and just when Newcastle needed Callum Wilson, yes, I know it's illness and you can't really safeguard against that. It happens, you know. But where was he when his team really needed him there? Anthony Gordon, I thought, you know, was a threat, was a real threat, but he huffed and puffed until, you know, the second half. I thought in the first half he wasn't great at times. And Bruno, you know, I'm going through the lot here, come on, why stop there? The midfield, let's talk about the midfield before we go on to things at the back, or will never end. Bruno Guimaraes, £100 million Bruno Guimaraes, all the talk. Where's he tonight when you really need that world-class player to step up and dictate a game against, you know, a Manchester United midfielder with Scott McTominay in there, with an 18-year-old Kobe Mainoo, you know, pushing onto and trying to expose with his cute passing a centre-back pairing of Casemiro and Johnny Evans. It just wasn't really there. I thought Bruno was poor tonight. I am going through the lot now. You know, Sean Longstaff, he's missed that big chance. Passing sloppy. I thought it was a poor night for Sean. Elliot Anderson worked hard, but he came off. You know, there's no complaints when he came off. Didn't do what he can normally do on the ball. Murphy, delivery poor. Isak wasn't at it. Gordon, probably the pick of those in the attacking areas. But, you know, at times again, as the lights are just going out here, I usually make some sort of, you know, lazy analogy about lights going out on seasons at this point, which not just yet, you know, there's still hope down at Brentford. I will get to that. In the defence, you know, Emil Krafth I thought did okay. Dan Burn done poor for that goal. Lewis Hall did okay. I might still do the Merit Stars now. We've sort of fallen into them. And who was the other one? Trippier and Dubravka. So we've boxed a lot off there. Merit Stars. One goes to Emil Krafth. Now, I thought out of the defenders, he perhaps defended the best, if you know what I mean. I thought he had a couple of crucial interventions. There was one lovely run down the right wing where he's hung up the cross for Joe Linton. I thought Emil Krafth did okay tonight. I'll give him 1 star. 2 stars, well, those go to Anthony Gordon. He's scored the goal. He's laid on chances. He should have had a penalty, even though he's, I think the incident with the Achilles has sort of impeded him. And certainly in the second half there, he got another knock in that area. And Eddie Howe was saying to him, was just down below us, are you okay? Can you carry on? What's wrong? Howe was really frustrated when Gordon had sort of failed to track a run and it looked like it might cost the team, but he recovered from that. And I thought, he was a threat. I still believe I'd like to see him more down the right than the left. There's too much checking on the left at times for me, but no, I thought Gordon overall, you'd say he had a good game. But the pick of the lot was Lewis Hall, and that is a real encouragement for Newcastle, pivoting into positives here going into next season, because he, for this run of games now, is starting to look, his ability on the ball, I think, is unquestionably steady. He's got a lovely touch, it's absolute second nature when it comes to him. He's clearly got that shot, that quality, that goal in him, as the lights finally do go out. And, the defensive work, yes, it needs improving, but it has improved. And if that tells us there has been, he has, with exposure to Eddie on the training pitch and a little bit in the games now, that he has got better, why won't he continue to do that? He's only 19 years old. There was a great block at the end there. So, yeah, Lewis Hall for me is the deserved recipient of 3 stars. Now, where does this leave Newcastle going out to Brentford on Sunday? Well, in terms of the league itself, the league position, it still is in their hands. If they go and win at Brentford, they are guaranteed to finish above Manchester United. And depending on what Chelsea do, you would think Chelsea will get the result they need. That would leave Newcastle finishing the like I said, the league season with Conference League football. They would then, it wouldn't be in their hands by virtue of the fact Manchester United have got the FA Cup final to come against Manchester City. Now, I am absolutely convinced from what I've seen of Manchester United there tonight and over the course of the season, they will lose the cup final. But nonetheless, Newcastle will have to wait another 6 days regardless to see what comes of the fate European-wise. But why would you have confidence of them going to Brentford and winning when you look at the league form this season? Where are they now in the league form table? Is it away form, sorry, is it 16th or something like that? It's, away from home, and this is what we spoke about with Eddie afterwards. How many times have we been sat with the manager in press conference rooms talking about those mentality failings, away from home, not having the personality and the character as a collective to do enough to win matches. I keep on coming back to, that killer ruthlessness about them that they had at times last season that just hasn't been there. It's been missing, and it's cost them dear, and it's cost them there again tonight. So why won't it cost them on Sunday in a match that means so much? Because, I honestly think if they go there and win, they'll be playing European football next season. I just now, after tonight, have lost a little bit of confidence in them going there and getting that victory. Now, the positive, I suppose, is that Brentford have got nothing to play for. Newcastle have shown there tonight. If they repeat that performance and Wilson is back and Isak is, a few days sharper for training, of course they've got it in them to go there and win. But, that there tonight, again, it's another, I used the word deflating after the game on Saturday. That there tonight is another deflating out, and for all of the reasons I've just explored in this video. But anyway, guys, that's it for me from here. We'll just give you a little last scan. It's still for all of its problems, it's still a brilliant place to cover football and to watch football. Not so much for you guys tonight, but no, thank you again for watching. Please hit like, comment and subscribe. I'll be back at the end of the week when we're going to see Eddie Howe for the final time up at Newcastle's Benton training base, and then I'll be down at Brentford on Sunday for another huge game. Okay, guys, see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.